We've done it. I finished book 24, people. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I just read a lot of books. I read a ridiculous amount of books. So many that I have now just finished book 24 of the Exceptional Sophia Beaufont. The final book from Sophia Beaufont series. I cannot believe I've done it. It's called The Final Resolution. Here is the front cover for you. It's by Sarah Noffke and Michael Andel, and we did it, people! We did it! I'm going to read that blurb to you and then let's discuss the end of Sophia Beaufont's story. To be fair though, it's not the end. It's not the end. In the end, one superpower must fall for a single empire to rise. The question is, will it be the one on the good side or that of evil? Sophia Beaufont might have a third option. However, this is a brand new risk that no one has dared to try. But losing more dragon riders is simply not an option for Sophia and Lunis. If they want a new world, they know they'll have to do something different than before. Can Sophia and Lunis create peace among the dragon elite and the rogue riders before it's too late for everyone? Last book, 294 pages, as I said, book 24 of 24. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Do I want to spoil what happens at the very end? Let's just preface this. If you haven't read the books, if you don't want to know, don't watch this video. Go read it, go watch the other videos to catch up. If you do not know, if you do not want to know what happens at the end of this series, turn off now. I know that's putting people off if they don't want to know, but I'm going to have to discuss spoilers. I really am. So, as we know, leading up to this point, they needed to take out Versely, because Versely is in charge of the Rogue Riders. And without her to look to, the Rogue Riders don't have any guidance. So they can't really do anything when they're essentially babies and don't know what they're doing. I will admit there is some stuff that is obviously going to carry on into the next series, because there are a couple of things that Sophia is told about a potential new Beaufont that is not answered. It's not answered. Sophia is given a locket which has some initials on it, and Sophia is supposed to pass this locket on to somebody. But this book does not actually tell you who that person is. But based on what we know from this one, I have a feeling it's going to end up in Paris Beaufont's hands, which is the next series. Also, we find out what the genie did to Liv's baby when she asked for it not to be a demon. Basically, the trick that the genie did was, instead of it being a demon, Liv is going to have a fairy. And when you look at the description of the Paris Beaufont series, Paris is a fairy. So, it looks like this locket that Sophia has is going to end up being for Paris. It's going to be interesting to know why she's called Paris, when in this book Liv claims that she's going to name her daughter after her mother. Yeah, so throughout this book you see them getting ready for Ainsley and Hiker's wedding. They are having dress and suit fittings, all of them, and at the same time Sophia is also, well, all of the elite are getting ready to take down Versely. They know that Versely and her dragon get strength from volcanoes. I want to say that Versely's dragon is called Ash, and they find out that Versely's lair is inside of a volcano. And the reason they can handle being at the volcano is because it's her dragon's element. From the last book, throughout this book, you've got Versely going, oh, they'll never find me. But, you know, Sophia has people and friends in high places and has been getting hints all the way through. This one seemed very jumpy, but in a good way. It would just jump around a little bit more, but it was in order to kind of help tie things up and keep Sophia ahead of Versely. That's the main reason for the jumping around in this book, I think. You don't get every single detail about how they find everything out. You just have Sophia saying, oh, so-and-so told me this and so-and-so told me that. We don't have all like the individual conversations about how Sophia is learning everything, but at this point you don't need it. It's not necessary to have all those filler bits, because at this point Sophia is just proving how far she's come in the time that she has been with the elite, And there are lots of references to how when she first arrived, she was wanting to go out on mission straight away, how she couldn't be held at the Gullington, she always wanted to be out doing, and it ties into what eventually happens, which, to be honest, it's one of those things where I kind of should have seen it coming, but at the same time, I didn't. I was just there thinking, I really should have seen this coming. Because also, there's that whole question mark of who was going to be in charge. What was the plan for who's going to be in charge of the Rogue Riders when they kill Vesely? Never have we had that conversation throughout the series of what was going to happen when they took down the head of the Rogue Riders. Because somebody has to be in charge. Should it just be that whoever kills Vesely takes over? Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler! So when they have the battle, and they sort all that out... Sorry, I'm reading off this because I literally just finished this last night, and I've slept on it, and my brain is like exploding. Because when Vesely is taken out, but I'm not going to tell you how they're taken out, Vesely and Ash, but the ending, and realising who becomes in charge of the Rogue Riders. And with all the hints they've been putting through about how Sophia cannot be kept at the Gullington, it was just like, oh. This is the only way it could have ended. No one else can be in charge of the Rogue Riders. The only person who can be in charge of the Rogue Riders is an Angel Rider. I absolutely adored this series. And last night, after I finished Sophia, I started reading Liv. And seeing the huge difference in the beginning of Liv's story compared to the Liv that we see throughout Sophia. I am so excited about the Liv stories. For that one, it's just 12 books, it's not 24, so I could be slightly quicker to read. This really is the final resolution for Sophia, and it will be so interesting to see the references to Sophia and where she has ended up in the future Paris Beaufont series. I feel like I said everything and yet nothing. I'm still comprehending it all. I can't believe the journey that I've gone on with these books. And I will say, I have figured out casting people. I had a really good think about it yesterday and the day before. I'm still a little bit of a question mark over Sophia and Liv. Mainly because originally I had two real life sisters eyed up for them, but I think they're both fairly tall, and there's lots of references throughout the books as to both Sophia and Liv being quite short. So I made amendments. I also have randomly written David Tennant at the bottom because I was just there thinking, as a Scottish actor, David Tennant has to be in there somewhere, but I just can't figure out where yet. For Lunis, it's going to be Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry is the voice of Lunis. Even though technically I feel like it could be an American actor, there's just something about, to be fair, Stephen Fry, he can do accents, right? He's an actor. Just the irony is what I'm leaning into with the voice of Lunis, and having someone like Stephen Fry voice Lunis, doing all the dad jokes and talking about setting up with Netflix and all the games and having his own there. I just love the irony of that. King Rudolph. This is the point where I was just like, should it be an American or a Brit? But King Rudolph, for the majority of the series, lives in Las Vegas. The idea I've had for King Rudolph is Woody Harrelson. I don't know why. It's just in my brain. Mama Jamba. This is the one where I've got two potentials there. Kathy Bates or Caroline Quentin. I think both could bring a lot to Mama Jamba. Hiker. Now this is one where David Tennant could potentially come in, because I was thinking, originally I thought of Hiker as someone like Billy Connolly, but then David Tennant could also work as Hiker, being that strong Viking. For Ainsley, I don't know why it took me so long to get here. I've had a lot of theories for Ainsley, but once I thought of this person as Ainsley, everything slipped into place. Emma Thompson. We know Emma Thompson is versatile and she can pretty much do anything, and Emma Thompson as Ainsley just fits in my brain. The next one I am going to say is who I've thought for Vesely. And when I thought about what image I had in my mind for Versely, which was somebody who was like tall, slim, dark hair, I suddenly realised Sophia Carson could work as Versely. I tap into the idea of Versely being more American, because even though with the Rogue Riders, even though they were born in Scotland, they flew the nest very quickly. So the idea of Versely being played by an American just really spoke to me. So yeah, Trin, half cyborg, half pirate. Freema Agyeman. I think it might be something to do with her connection to Doctor Who that made me think of her as Trin. But yeah, just the idea of Freema as a cyborg pirate. I think she could kill it. I think she could be really good there. Evan. I'm thinking Sean Biggerstaff. I was trying to lean into like the Scottish side of things. I remember being in love with Sean Biggerstaff in the Harry Potter movies. But yeah, the idea of Sean Biggerstaff playing Evan and being tortured by the Gunting and Quiet, yeah, I just love that idea. For Maka, Dev Patel. Just Dev Patel as Maka just completely fits in my brain as being this silent type, the quiet type. Next, for Wilder, the love interest. This is the first person that came to mind for Wilder. And it's Thomas Doherty. I can never say that name. Doherty? Is it Doherty? Doherty? Yeah, he was in the Descendants films. Yeah, you can tell I'm trying to lean into the Scottish side because, you know, a lot of it is based in Scotland. And a lot of the characters are Scottish. And I was just there going, yeah, this'll work. I think there was only one person who could play Quiet. Captain Gullington. And that's Warwick Davis. He is the only person who can play Quiet for me. Again, Warwick Davis is very versatile. I've seen him in so many different things and he's incredible. And also when you see things where he's just been himself, he seems like the loveliest guy in the world. It could only be Warwick Davis as Quiet. And just the idea, the fact that Quiet, a lot of the time you just can't hear a word he's saying. There's only a couple of moments throughout the series where you can actually hear him. A lot of the time he's like whispering or mumbling, but generally he is very quiet, hence his nickname Quiet. So yeah, I think that could be really interesting to see Warwick Davis as Quiet. Now we're going into Sophia and Liv. Now I'm going to tell you who I originally put in these roles to understand why I changed it. Originally I was just thinking, wouldn't it be nice to see real life sisters in these roles? So originally I was thinking of the Fanning sisters. I was thinking of Elle Fanning as being Sophia, Dakota Fanning as Liv. Now Dakota I feel like is very short, but Elle Fanning is a very tall young woman, and considering the description of them, I think they could be fantastic in these roles. But the story so often talks about how short the girls are. So then I went down the route of looking up young actresses who fit into kind of being on the shorter side, something like around 5'2"-ish. And now I think both of these actresses are about the same height. I think both of these actresses are 5'2", though one of them, it claims that she's either 5'1" or 5'2". So yeah, so for Liv, I've decided on Anna Kendrick. I think that Anna Kendrick would totally fit Liv in the whole sarcasm thing. And as I read, I mean, I'm only about 100 pages into the first book of the Liv series, but the idea of Anna Kendrick playing that works so well in my head, just having started that series. But yeah, which leads us on to Sophia. I decided there needs to be a bit of an age difference because I think there's supposed to be about 6-7 years between them, so I decided I need to kind of lean into that. With Anna Kendrick being her 30s, I was just thinking, even though Sophia's supposed to be like 16, 17, I wasn't afraid to go a little bit older, maybe going into like early 20s. And so, one that I thought could work for Sophia, drum roll please, Kiernan Shipka. Everything I have seen Kiernan Shipka in, she knocks it out of the park. And the idea of Kiernan Shipka playing Sophia, I feel it's kind of genius. Even though I think, is she 24? Oh, she's 23. I wasn't that far off, I think she's 24. But at 23 years old, I think that she'd be okay to play. I mean, she has played younger anyway. I mean, how old was she when she did the Sabrina stuff? She must have been late teens when she was doing that. The idea of Kiernan Shipka playing like a 16, 17-year-old works for me. Because, and plus she's quite young looking anyway. But yeah, that is my current cast list for this series that I am putting out there into the world. I would so much love for this to be a series, a TV series. There's a lot of other people who could be in this cast list. because of the ridiculous amount of characters, but I thought for this, these are the main ones that I want to cast, and so I have. That is my cast list for the Sophia Beaufont miniseries. I say miniseries, it's going to be at least 24 episodes. Unless they split it into 2 seasons and do like 12 episodes each. I did it. I made it to the end, and now I've started Live. Has it been almost exactly a year that I've been reading this for? Thank you so much for keeping up with me in reading the Exceptional Sophia Beaufont series by Sarah Noffke and Michael Andel. As I said, I absolutely adored this series. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I read them so quickly. I could have very easily read like 1 a day, but because I just didn't want to read it all in one go, I kind of gave myself a break between books to read other stuff, so that I still had content for you all. Just an amazing series, and I am looking forward to learning Liv's backstory now, with Anna Kendrick in mind, as I read the whole thing. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't worry, there's still going to be more to come, because as I said, I've started Live, and after Live I'll be reading Paris. So, mwah. Stay safe everybody, and I love you all. See you next time!